All right, so what I'm going to refer to now is the exercise you have on page 136. If your instructor says that you need to do table 11.1, features of animal phyla, here are some things that might help you. So let's do sort of a broad comparison. So in terms of germ layers, tissue layers, the phylum Porifera, remember, has no formal tissues. It goes by cell to cell. It is a choanocyte flagellated collar cells. And so that is how it builds its body. And so as far as germ layers, then we move on to cnidaria. And cnidaria has the endoderm for the nervous system and the ectoderm for the epithelial. That's only 2 tissue types. And then we move on to all of the rest of the groups having 3 tissue types: endoderm, ectoderm, mesoderm. So that's from phylum Platyhelminthes to phylum Echinodermata. All right, the next feature of animal phyla would be symmetry. So remember that phylum Porifera, there is no symmetry. There's nowhere that you can cut a sponge and have one side equal to the other, whether you cut it like a pie or whether you cut it in 2, like bilateral symmetry. Then the next type of symmetry is going to be radial symmetry. This is where you can cut it like a pie and the pieces are equal or the same. The rest of the phylums, phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Nematoda, phylum Annelida, phylum Mollusca, phylum Arthropoda, and phylum Echinodermata, all of these are bilateral symmetry with this quirky one at the end, bilateral symmetry as larva, phylum Echinodermata, however, as an adult, radial symmetry. The next feature is going to be gut type. I'm not sure if your professors are going to have you do gut type or not, but I'll just mention some of these. Usually this is not one that gets discussed. This is going to be the gut type is a central cavity. Basically, there is no gut because there's no coelom. Then cnidarian has a gastric cavity. They do have a gastric cavity. It's not technically a full-on digestive system. It's a gastric cavity. The Platyhelminthes, and remember, these guys are not coelomate. They don't have formal body cavities yet. So even Platyhelminthes, which is acoelomate, has only what's called a gastric cavity and a pharynx. They have no mouth, they have no gastrointestinal system, but they have basically a body tube and a pharynx. A pharynx sort of mimics a type of mouth. All right, now, starting with nematode, phylum Nematode, all of the rest of the phylums, phylum Annelida, phylum Mollusca, phylum Arthropoda, phylum Echinodermata, all of these have complete digestive systems, right? The next thing would be body cavity, and I've mentioned this over and over and over, so I'm just going to go no, yes, acoelom, coelomate. So no coelom, that means no body cavity that you fit organs into. No, all right. Platyhelminthes, again, we now have 3 tissue layers, so now we start using the word coelomate. This one is acoelomate. 3 tissues, but this one now becomes pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate means a sort of it looks like it's sort of halfway it's the development. There's an actual picture in your text that would show you the representation of this, the difference between acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, and full-on coelomate. So take a look at that. Take a look on either on your Connect site or in your textbook. So this one is definitely pseudocoelomate, and then we start to hit body cavities, and we're taking a look at coelomate, full-on body cavity, coelomate, phylum Mollusca, coelomate, phylum Arthropoda, and coelomate Echinodermata. And of course, when you hit phylum Chordata, definitely coelomate. The last one is segmentation. The only 2 that we classify as having segmented bodies are in the phylum Annelida and the phylum Arthropoda. And the other thing that's not mentioned here that I would like to mention is molting. Phylum Arthropoda, they molt. Phylum Nematoda, they molt to grow. And I believe that you can find your own representative samples based on your reading, and I believe that concludes Lab 11. Good luck.